back to Brandon Sports. You hope you're having a great day. Before I get into my week 16, it's week 16 already. Before we get into the game picks for Saturday's two slate game, please hit that like button and subscribe button to the channel for more great content coming up. This week we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders. The Eagles are 9-5 coming into this matchup. The Commanders are 4-10. That game is at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. We then have, it's basically a doubleheader. We have the Packers versus the Chicago Bears. The Packers coming into this game 9-4-1 versus the Bears, who are 10-4. It's a special Saturday edition of NFL games, which I don't get why they're doing this because college football is in the playoffs, and I just think this is just to be greedy with money, but it's okay. We're still going to go over the review anyway. First up, we have the Eagles at the Commanders. In this game, this is going to be short and simple. The Eagles have to win this game. The Commanders are done. Their team is too banged up. I always said Jaden Daniels being out, Zach Ertz being out. Deebo Samuel's been all right with the team, but obviously you're not going to see his true capabilities with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Terry McLaurin has been up and down all season. He did not have a great season this year. It's been absolutely terrible for this entire season. This Washington team is going to bounce back next year again. Your quarterback being hurt, your tight end being hurt, wide receivers being in and out to the lineup all year, your offensive line not being that great, your defense is not good. Bobby Wagner is basically the highlight of the defense for me. He's going to make another All-Pro team. He's probably going to make the Pro Bowl again. One of the greatest middle linebackers of this era. But this game is all about Philadelphia. Commanders are probably going to fight. They're probably not going to quit on Dan Quinn because Dan Quinn is a good coach. This year was just marred by injuries. You open up a new stadium, so hopefully the team gets it back together by the time you open a new stadium in D.C. again, which I'm very excited about that. I'm not excited about the taxpayers paying that money for the roadways and stuff, but it is what it is. The Commanders get a new stadium. Hopefully the team will continuously build through the draft. That's all you need to know about the Commanders this week. Commanders are not a good team. They're 4-10 for a reason. This game, again, is about Philadelphia. Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts. You got to play well, point blank period. End of discussion. The same way you blew out the Raiders last week, you got to do the same thing this week with the Commanders. The Commanders cannot cover anybody. They can't do nothing. They are not a good football team for a reason. The Philadelphia Eagles are coming off a Super Bowl and a team that looks like they don't have any chemistry. The Philadelphia Eagles have to win this game to improve to 10-5. Yes, the Commanders are going to be 4-11. And by the way, Philadelphia, you have the better team. Even if your offensive line, Lane Johnson, is out at right tackle. You still got the better O-line. You still got the better running back. You still got the better tight end. You still got the better receivers. There is no excuse why the Eagles lose this game. I understand they lost Chicago on Black Friday. Fine, whatever. It's not a great defense, even though they got a lot of takeaways. They're number one in takeaways, Chicago Bears. But other than that, the Commanders do nothing well as far as this year goes. Last year, they were, 12-3, 12-4, or 12-5, whatever it was. They were a good team last year, marred by injuries this year. We feel bad for Jaden Daniels. Hopefully, he will continue to be healthy. They shut him down. It's Marcus Mariota. This should be a piece of cake. I know it's any given quote-unquote Sunday, but because this is Saturday, we're going to say it's any given Saturday. But this game for the Eagles should be a game where you're just getting everybody their numbers. Get A.J. Brown the football. Run the football with Saquon Barkley. In this game, like I said about last week's game against the Raiders, the Eagles should be A.J. Brown should have 100 yards. Devontae Smith should have 100 yards. Saquon Barkley should have 100 yards rushing. Jalen Hurts should have about 4 passing touchdowns. Maybe 2 to A.J. Brown, 1 to Devontae Smith, and 1 to Dallas Goedert. And Saquon Barkley should have a rushing touchdown. But Jalen Hurts should dominate this game like he did last week with the Raiders. Even I wasn't impressed with that win because the stats weren't, phenomenal or out of this world. But a win is a win. And this game right here, in this matchup, it comes down to just Jalen Hurts playing well and this Philadelphia offense scoring. The defense is going to do their job. Point blank period, they're going to do their job. The question is, can the Eagles continue to be motivated and act like they got some chemistry and play well on offense? Because their offense has been holding this team back. And their defense, again, like A.J. Brown said, has been holding the pieces and carrying this team. And they said, A.J. Brown said, when it comes to the playoffs, you cannot do that. We cannot keep relying on defense. We have to do our job. And in this instant, they have to do their job. This should be an easy win for the Eagles. And the last thing about the Eagles is they face the Commanders this week, week 16. Then they go and face Buffalo. Even if let's just say you lose to Buffalo. The following week in week 18, you come back at home and face the Commanders again. This should be 2 easy victories for the Philadelphia. The one challenging victory that you should have is against Buffalo. But the Eagles defense, to me, in my opinion, is 10 times better than Buffalo's. Buffalo defense has been playing well. Buffalo just might beat them just on merit. But we'll get to that next week. But as far as this week goes, the Philadelphia Eagles have to beat the Commanders. There's no excuse why they should not win this football game. Unless somebody gets hurt. Other than that, we hope nobody gets hurt, but Philadelphia should win this game easily. Next up, we got the Packers at the Chicago Bears. This game, Caleb Williams has to play well again. 60% completion percentage needs to continuously go up. They got to run the football. Run this football like you did the past 2 weeks. DeAndre Swift, running game. Eric Bieniemy got the running game in Chicago looking really good. Continuously run the ball. Caleb Williams cannot make any mistakes. Throw the ball. Keep the ball in protection. Your defense is number one in turnovers. Jordan Love last week had about, 1 or 2 interceptions last week. Again, you have got to take advantage of the fact that Michael Parsons is out with an injury. We wish him the best in his recovery. Hopefully he'll be ready for next year or next season. But right now, this is time for Chicago to get revenge. Caleb Williams threw an interception at the end of that game last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, threw that interception against the Packers to seal the game. I know he was trying to float the ball over the receiver, try to get to the receiver, but the DB just ran in and snatched it and caught the interception. He has to get his revenge. This has to be one of his best games of his career. He's been playing well this season again. His completion percentage needs to go up for me, just because I'm a completion percentage guy, even though sometimes you can lose with a great completion percentage, but still, for a guy like him being this young, you want his completion percentage to be up there. Same thing with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow always has a great completion percentage, even his second, third, and fourth year. He had the NFL record. Previously, it was Deshaun Watson who had the record. Then Joe Burrow has the record now. But as a young quarterback, you just don't want to fall into these traps where you're still winning despite not being able to make the easy passes that you should be making. But Caleb Williams has improved a lot this year under Ben Johnson. This Chicago Bears offensive line in particular, has got to protect Caleb. He gets out of a lot of sacks. He really does. And that's actually great. Mobile, everything that he does is great when it comes to avoiding the sack. Michael Parsons is not there. The Green Bay Packers defense doesn't get the same pressure without Micah Parsons. This is a huge deal. I think next year Green Bay will be really dominant when you get Parsons back and you're able to make more moves with money, whatever the case may be. But right now, Chicago has to take advantage. This is their time right now. If they win this football game, they face the 49ers next week. And that shouldn't be hard for Caleb at all. Now, I like Brock Purdy. I like the way he's playing. But this game could possibly be a shootout because back and forth between both offenses, because the 49ers defense, although they're playing well on the solid, they're not a great, defense like the Packers with Micah Parsons. You have the 49ers next week, and then a week after that, you have the Detroit Lions in week 18. So you have to take advantage of the fact that Green Bay is reeling, that Christian Watson, even though he's not hurt, and we'll see what his status is for the game, other than that, Chicago has to take advantage of Green Bay's injuries and being hurt, especially with Micah Parsons being out. This is the game that Caleb Williams needs. It's at Soldier Field. It's going to be a great game in my opinion. I think Caleb's going to go well. I'm picking the Chicago Bears to win this football game outright. It's going to be a tough game, obviously, going against Green Bay defense, but again, they do not get the same pressure. They don't get the same pressure without Micah Parsons. For me, Caleb Williams has got to take advantage. Remember, no interceptions. Don't get sacked. Throw the ball away. Don't try to make overly aggressive plays that you're not making. Like, I know Caleb Williams likes to take the ball and he likes to scramble out of the pocket, and when he throws the ball, he leans forward and throws it so hard that every single time the receiver tries to grab it, it pops off of their hand. He's throwing the ball too hard and he's leaning forward so he can't get that ball. He's not balanced to throw that pass. Some passes he makes off balance are great, but it's that one particular pass that Caleb Williams does that you see, oh man, it's going to bounce off the receiver's hands. Every time he does it, it bounces off the receiver's hands. Like, one or a couple of times they'll catch it, but a lot of times they'll bounce off the receiver's hands. But this week, Chicago has got to take advantage of Green Bay. I keep repeating it because it's the truth. Run the football. Caleb cannot make any mistakes. As for Jordan Love in this football game, Chicago's number one in takeaways. They're probably going to get a takeaway for Jordan Love. We'll see what Green Bay does after this week. But Chicago has to win this football game against the Green Bay Packers, because next week, again, you have the 49ers and you have the Detroit Lions. And that Detroit Lions game, you have to get your revenge for what they did to you earlier in the season. And the 49ers are not going to be an easy game because Robert Sala's going to have that defense coached well. But you got to get this victory because you're going to go up against a well-coached 49ers team next week, and you're going to want at least one more victory. Just in case you might lose next week or lose the week after and lose 2 games to end the season, but at least you have this win over Green Bay and in the division. Do I think you can beat Detroit now? Yes. If I would have said this a couple weeks ago, I would have said no. But now you have the momentum. Everything is going Chicago's way. The defense is not particularly great when it comes to run defense or pass defense, but your turnovers is what makes this defense motivated. It gets them after guys, the interceptions that they get. So this is going to be a great game in my opinion. Again, the Chicago Bears have to win this game. This is a must-win for Chicago, and not only a must-win for Chicago, but this has to be a great game by Caleb Williams. But let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about these two games. What are your game picks and why you're picking the team? Let me know in the comments down below. Before I go, please hit that like button and subscribe button for more great content coming to the YouTube channel. Until next time, guys, see you real soon.